Come, my little friends, as we all sing a happy little working song. Much better.
Is that your impression of Giselle?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I won the Amy Adams impression contest.
Who all was in that contest?
Me and Eric.
Alright.
Hey, we're two fat guys.
And we just watched Enchanted.
As grown men often do.
Yes.
Just a couple bros broing out watching Enchanted.
Watching Enchanted.
You know, pound some brewskis, watch Enchanted.
Fuck you, society. That movie's great.
Take that, gender stereotypes. Boom! Walls come tumbling down. I don't know. I got nothing. So Enchanted.
Yeah, because until Enchanted, we always lived up to our gender stereotypes. Very
heteronormative here in this group. I mean, I watch football, so I'm doing my part.
Damn it.
We play video games. We're not very...
video games.
We don't dress well, so we got it. We got this.
I got a sweet Green Lantern t-shirt.
So, Enchanted...
Because Disney owns DC, right? That's...
They will. Give them time.
Oh, Give them Jesus.
Time. Yeah, they bought Warner Brothers.
Oh, that'd be great. Enchanted.
Enchanted came out in 2007. It was just the perfect time because...
I remember the previews for this movie, and I was stoked.
We're still like 2 years from Princess and Frog coming out, so we were adults, full-on adults, just living in the quagmire of missing the Disney films of our childhood.
I was 20 years old.
Basically, these filmmakers came along like, hey, we also remember that. How would you like this movie both celebrating and lampooning that? Like,
yes, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
One, please. It's a fun fact, though.
So we're going to have Cyclops singing in it?
Yes.
Sure. Sign me up.
So I went and saw this film in theaters. I went to the Dollar Theater to see it. And I went by myself on like a Tuesday at like 1 in the afternoon.
Wow, that was the creepiest thing that you could have done.
No one else was there though, so it was great. I was like just incognito. And there were a couple reasons I did it. First off, I didn't...
After a single mother took her child away.
Yes, actually me. I know, because I was living with Clayton, and he needed to run home after Christmas, but he still had to work. So I had like, classes were done, and I had like 3 days where I was just in Columbus with nothing to do. So one day I went and saw Enchanted, and then the next day I went and saw Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like, I just went and saw these movies that I was just curious about, but was like kind of too embarrassed. Like, hey guys, let's go see that Enchanted movie.
That's totally what I did.
See, I didn't really... Like, it's Clayton and
Steve.
Steve.
Me and a bunch of my theater friends. We all went to go see Enchanted opening weekend.
See, Clayton and Steve were too apathetic, and at that point, most of my theater friends were probably out of town because it was the holidays.
That's fair.
But this movie was a delight when I saw it then, and it's a delight now.
So good.
So enjoyable.
Premise-wise, it starts just amazing, just by the sheer premise of it, which is you have Disney animated princess who gets sucked into a portal and now is trying to make her way in the modern-day New York City, which is about as far as you can get from Disney Princess Land.
Yes, she still has all her princess powers, but she doesn't. She doesn't really understand. She doesn't understand the modern technology or how people function.
Yeah, or the modern society, like how that.
But she's eternally optimistic. It's great, and you get to watch her grow into sort of more of a real full-ass character. Yeah, just lots of stuff. Yeah. All the stuff. The premise alone is great. The execution is also great. Amy Adams is just genius in this. This one I realized, like,
the cast all the way through is fantastic.
Yeah, even what's his name? It's the guy does a good job. Like
McSteamy or whatever. Is his name McDreamy?
Is that his name?
That's his name from Grey's Anatomy. I don't know.
Oh.
I can't remember his name.
Pat
Dempsey. Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey.
We got it.
We're somewhat straight. It took us a long time to go with Patrick Dempsey. Okay, so
Jesus.
Patrick Dempsey, he even does a good job as he has to be the straight man to this Disney world invading the real world. And he's just sit there and go like,
you can't do that. You can't.
He knows this song too?
That is one of my favorite moments.
That is
when she starts to sing in the park and there's like
no music. She's just singing.
Yeah, and these musicians start playing the song with her, and he's like, "What is?" Does he know? How did you? I've never even heard this song.
Because you know what? I would make that exact assumption. Like, if someone started singing and then, like, a band joined in, I'd go, like, oh, this is, like, I don't listen to a lot of pop music, so it's probably like, oh, is this a Taylor Swift song or something?
Yeah,
oh, okay, that's cool. I'll ask Tyler about it later. I'll be like, hey,
then, like, everyone starts joining in. It's this big production number.
And then because it starts off with him being bewildered and, like, questioning it, and then at the end, he's just like, well, this is life, and, like, people are putting flowers and shit on him. He's like, I don't know how the world works anymore.
Yeah, like it's
so great and put upon.
Yeah, so he's great. Cyclops as the prince.
James Marsden has earned a name.
He'll always be Cyclops. This was the first movie I saw him in where he wasn't Cyclops.
That's true, but
I was like, your eyes look weird.
But then he did Hairspray after this.
I haven't seen Hairspray.
You haven't seen Hairspray?
The show or the movie?
That's weird.
Or the movie?
You see the movie. You see both movies and the show. No, he's really good in that. He's really enjoyable as Corny Collins.
I mean, I've told that I should play Edna at some point, but that's all I know about it.
I mean, at some point,
and then I was like, all right, and then John Travolta did it, and I was like, fuck that.
That basically means someone said, "Hey, you're overweight and funny." Like,
no, they're not wrong.
That's really all I could take out of that, because I also sort of it's like I was told one time, like, "Oh, you should play Ben Franklin, 1776." I was like, "Is it because I'm bald and fat and wear glasses?" Like, I don't know anything about the role, so maybe it is just a perfect role for my style, but maybe it's just because I'm fat and bald and wear glasses. I think it's that second one.
That's bigoted.
That is bigoted. Can't call me big guy. I have a name, sir. Enchanted.
Yeah. Idina Menzel has a supporting role.
A non-singing Idina Menzel.
Yeah.
It's good for her. I remember...
Did she sing at the end? I thought she sang some part
if
of
she
the
sings,
end.
she sings a line. She doesn't have a song.
It's not...
I do remember seeing an interview with her where she was just really excited to be cast in this as an actress and not like...
a singer.
Yeah, they didn't bring her in like let's say for Frozen where she sings. Like, they brought her in like, hey, like, we think you are great for this role, and they cast her for her acting abilities, which is great.
Yeah.
As people who have been pigeonholed, you know how great it is when you could sort of break out of that mold. So.
Timothy Spall.
Timothy Spall as Timothy Spall.
Like, just as the henchman who's secretly working for the villain, for Susan Sarandon, the villain, who's also fantastic. But then like starts to realize that it's evil. Like, just great. Good stuff.
Yeah, she's a great Disney villainess, and in a vein where she's just actually being the villainess, not like the sort of let's reclaim it Angelina Jolie Maleficent sort of, oh, let's try to get a different spin on the story. She's like, no, let's just get the spin on the story, and I'm here, and she nails it. Yeah, so good.
What's really interesting, I think, especially with Susan Sarandon, it's hard to tell, but with Timothy Spall, James Marsden, and Amy Adams especially, those people look like Disney characters.
They do. Like, I'm like, James Marsden, like, your jaws don't work that way, James Marsden.
Just their proportions, and especially when you put them in the costumes, but just how they work, they look like Disney characters. Timothy Spall has the shape of like
a henchman.
And it's great. So good thing he can act really well. Cause
it's also that's why I was so excited when he was the Beetle in Sweeney Todd. I was like, oh, thank God the cast name is going to be perfect. Like, zero questions. Yeah, he's a henchman. Of course he's a henchman. Look at him.
Yeah, I heard an interview where he was talking about how in order to get that job, he had to sing for Stephen Sondheim. And he was like, this is like doing Shakespeare, or reading Hamlet in front of Shakespeare. He's like, fuck.
Just like pouring buckets of sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. That's insane. And Sondheim's a dour guy, too. Like, even when he likes something, he's probably like, that's all right. Like, I imagine that's how he shows joy. But Enchanted. So the characters all look amazing. Also, the computer animation in this is great. The squirrel. It looks great. And also that dragon. The water effects on that dragon, the lighting at the end, the sort of like purple magic dragon that the villain transforms into.
We should point out, this is not a Disney associated production.
We should. Actually, I was going to do it earlier. I was like, okay, at this point we should do it
totally forgot. This is a bit of a cheat.
Technically.
But
so here's what happened.
But also arguably more so than something like Goofy Movie.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you remember our video where we talked about Home on the Range and and the quality of Home on the Range, Disney may have fired all of the people that can do hand-drawn animation at their studio after Home on the Range.
Like, fuck it. We're putting all of our eggs into Chicken Little.
So when they were in production on Enchanted, they're like, oh, okay, we got to do this animated beginning. And they looked around and no one knew how to draw without computers drawing for them. So they went to the studio that had hired all these people that got fired by Disney. Basically, they went to this, and I hope they got charged to the nose. I hope they just paid way too much for this, because they had to basically go to all the people they fired like 5 years earlier, like, hey, could you
draw this thing for us?
Well, you guys are really good at doing Disney animation.
Oh, are we really good? Because we got fired from this pretty major studio, so we were afraid that you might think we weren't very good.
I hope it was the most awkward meeting in the world for them, because they deserve it to be. But basically, it
really
would have been a Disney animation studio, but they...
As an animator, to have Disney come crawling back to you must feel good. John Lasseter knows how that feels.
That's true, yeah.
Hey, you want to run our studio? Really? You want to make Brave Little Toaster? Sure.
Whatever you want, buddy. Computers, that sounds good. I like computers. Yeah, basically, I hope it was really painful because they deserve to get that victory after all the thing they went through.
Like, good for them, because you know what? It looks great.
It does look great.
The animation stuff.
The beginning and end,
really
the stuff in the animated world looks amazing.
Which is why we were surprised when we realized that it wasn't a Disney animators or associated production.
But basically, all the animators were Disney animators.
Yeah, so they were all trained and worked at Disney, but just didn't technically work there at the time.
It's as if Disney had hired Blue Studios to do their animation for them. Like, if they did that, then I might have just included those films as well.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. So, like, this is Disney coming to former Disney animators who are at a new studio and asked them to do it because they just didn't have people to draw it.
Yeah, because Disney bought this concept from somewhere. It was a screenplay.
Yeah, another studio was going to do that, and from what I heard, it was like R-rated and it was much raunchier.
Yeah, which I could absolutely see from.
I could see like Seth MacFarlane doing a dirty ass version of this movie, which would have been enjoyable.
If a Disney princess comes to New York, like,
and gets raped,
Jesus.
I said Seth MacFarlane. What part of that didn't you understand?
Because I thought you meant Seth Rogen, and I was thinking like a Judd Apatow comedy.
So basically, Seth Rogen like stood like,
hey, and then raped her, and I was like, Jesus.
No means yes, baby. Like what? Jesus.
Seth Rogen, what are you doing? Jonah Hill's just watching.
Jonah Hill's crying in the corner.
Michael Cera's crying in the corner.
That's true.
Jonah Hill's just watching, like, wide,
smoking
dead-eyed.
a cigar. He's the new guy puking in the corner. Oh my god. So Enchanted. Which actually we were talking about Enchanted.
Yes,
the alternate universe version of Enchanted.
Yeah, so like that concept I could see going a different way, but then Disney got wind of it and was like, hey, we should do that.
Fun fact, in a different way.
And I think it worked really well.
Saving Mr. Banks also started a different studio, and it was being shopped around Hollywood, and Disney went, how the hell can anyone but us do this movie? So they
Thank you.
They didn't change it as much because that one was still a lot closer.
Yeah.
Basically, now they're like, okay, now we can do whatever the hell we want with Walt and all the characters. Like we don't have to worry about any rights for anything because we're Disney. But yeah, Enchanted was so they changed it to be more of it's a loving send up. It's the best sort of parody in that like I enjoy the classic Disney animated films, the princess films, and so as someone who likes those, you can enjoy this movie. Mm-hmm. But as someone also who realizes the kind of ridiculous of it, it also sends up all the points that you should raise.
It's like a whole movie around the one line in Frozen that you can't marry someone you just met.
Yeah.
Like, it's we kind of realize that this is ridiculous when held up against the real world.
And yeah, at the end, someone does marry someone they just met.
Yes, like, absolutely.
It's so great because
that world exists in that world, and she goes to that world.
Yeah, like it couldn't happen. If you stay on Earth, it doesn't work this way. But if you go to this magical land, it works that way.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. Like they draw a clear divide, and you get to have your cake and eat it too. Eat your cake and have it too. That's how the phrase actually goes. It's a common misconception, actually. That was a real story. I know I normally just lie, but because if you think about it, like the idea is that you eat your cake and still have it, and that's what they want to do, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Having your cake and then eating it, of course you can. Like, okay, I have my cake, and now I'm going to eat it.
I mean, that makes sense, but it could also work either way.
Well, I mean, the original quote was,
yes.
Eat their cake and have it too.
Enchanted.
Direct quote from Enchanted. So, just all the fun moments. The songs are great.
Yeah, which none of them won the Academy Award. And that was because 4 of them went up.
Yeah, basically all the songs they nominated up, and there's basically them and one other song.
And that song was Falling Slowly from Once, which, fantastic song and worthy of winning an Academy Award. I would like to know how it would have done if it just went up against, like
How Do You Know or Happy Working Song. Yeah, How Do You Know is probably the best one where they should have done. Especially, they did How Do You Know,
Happy Working Song,
True Love's Kiss, and then Ever After. Which is actually Stephen Killing's First Dance.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the song at the ball that they're singing. It's the modern pop song. So I was like, that's a nice touch. She's like, do you know the song? I was like, of course I know the song, Kayleen. Come on. Who are you talking to here? And you'll see in the future, because Princess and the Frog nominates a song, if I remember correctly. This is like, here is the only song you're allowed to consider from this. And a couple films in the future do that, so they'll have some years where there's not enough songs. But, because saying, if you like this movie... I could see differing opinions on why people like Happy Working Song over How Does She Know over True Love's Kiss.
Yeah.
And so it just split the vote, and the people who didn't care for that won out.
Yeah.
So
What do you mean? Good for once. It needed the publicity, certainly more than Enchanted did.
I guess.
And it's a solid song. I enjoy that song.
I guess. I just don't care for the concept of the movie.
No, the movie's terrible. I will stand by that. That movie, it's not for me. I can't. It's.
Yeah, the show's coming. The music's coming to town.
It is a well done. It is a well done movie, but a not for me at all. And it is just slice of life, and so there's no resolution.
Do
there's
something.
No story or anything. And
rob a bank. Have cancer. Just keep yelling at the characters.
Yeah, it's.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm not pretentious enough for this.
Enchanted, however, while really just being a series of jokes about Disney films and send-ups of it actually has a decent plot. It's like, okay, here are the stakes, and they get all the bits served to sort of explore that. Great stuff with the forcing the Disney prince and princess to go on a date.
Yes.
What's dating? Okay, you go out and you have some food. The shot of James Marsden in his prince costume wearing the Statue of Liberty hat and all the souvenir shit is just a great image. It's yeah, man.
That also the talking chipmunk when he came into the real world could not talk anymore, and so just had to be forced to pantomime and was great at that.
Yeah,
he knows how to pantomime.
He's cute. That sequence alone. Yeah, he's trying to pantomime. He's explaining that this person has poison apples, so he's playing Giselle, so he gets all curvy and. The no thank you is good. It's just.
I distinctly remember quoting "He's good" for a while.
Anytime you offer something to anyone, he's good.
That among my friends became something that we talked about a lot, which is weird now that I think about it. We're constantly quoting Enchanted.
To be fair, I constantly find myself quoting obscure episodes of the Drew Carey Show.
That's fair.
I rewatched that series 2 years ago, and I was like, holy shit, I quote this a lot from my childhood, apparently. And there are a lot of sex jokes in this. What were my parents thinking?
I didn't think when I watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective as an adult.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Oh, man. Alright, so Enchanted. Especially in the context of this marathon, I enjoyed it even more.
So good.
I already enjoy this. I already enjoy the movie, but watching it sandwiched in with all these other great films, good stuff.
Yep.
Especially because we watched this in chronological order, so we watched it right in the middle of all the shitty. Classes.
Yeah, it was like Home on the Range,
Chicken Little, and then
Enchanted.
Enchanted.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, we got this. Yeah, that's all I got on this one.
No, I'm good.
All right, so sing your happy little working song, everyone. We've been two fat guys.
And sorry for wasting your time. He's good.
No, thank you. We do have to start doing that now.
I know. That is so good.
It's so obscure. People are like, the hell is that? Remember that scene with Enchanted? Oh, the song? No. Oh, the other song? No. Oh, you mean the big ball? No. Oh, the one with the dragon? No, the squirrel?
In the restaurant.
Pantomiming in the restaurant?